This is Syl Di Diego Sharon Rose Master out of the New Jersey Edison Center, and it is my pleasure today to share with you my ATOMY Vision talk. Let me start with my story. Here's my circle of life. So I started my life in an urban setting in the city of Boston, and like many people, a big part of my life was school. I was between the age of 10 to 12 involved in count them, four entrepreneur ventures. So I had that in my blood early on, like many of you on the call, perhaps. And I also started a labor working life from the age of 12. Yes, I did. I started in a grocery store and I worked many hours a week. And later I worked in the office as an office boy, running around delivering things. And even in college, I was a consultant that got paid a few pennies or maybe a few dollars for certain type of research and report. So even my early days, I was definitely a laborer. And my life was filled, of course, with entertainment, like maybe some of you. I love to sing and perform, and even as a child, I was on TV with a group. And my wife even asked me to sing at our wedding, as did my mother. So that was a big part of my life, even into my adult life. And I always played ice hockey and football. So, like many of you, had a full life, but it was a life of activity as a child, and then going to school. But what changed for me was the song by John Denver. Now, I did listen to other types of music, but I listened to Rocky Mountain High, and sitting in the urban center of Boston, it made me imagine. It made me think that I could go somewhere different from the urban jungle. And so I was able to, after high school, go out to the west among the mountains. And I ended up in some of the spots was in the Montana mountains, the Bighorn Mountains, where I hiked and camped with others. And it was the first time I realized that something from my brain could be made a reality. And that was a big changing point in my life. But then I became an adult and I forgot about the capability and power of moving ideas into success. So I got on the rat race, perhaps like many of you. And this is the chart that we know that Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad uses. So on the left side is the active income, and I continued my labor-filled life, luckily as a corporate executive and then as a consultant in the digital space. I even spent some time in a nonprofit leading that group, but I was still on the labor side. So my entrepreneur spirit did come back though as an adult, and I did start a couple of companies. I had a couple of LLCs, limited liability companies, and I've also been a freelancer. And with luck and some hard work, I have been able to make six figures in many of these roles. So that's not bad, but that doesn't last forever. And even during that time, I was saving for passive income, right? I was putting money in my 401k, building up a pension at the time, and some investment in stocks. But during that time, about 20 years ago, me and my friend did read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he was a hardworking lawyer. He never slept almost. And we were both looking like, how can we find a business system? Because Robert Kiyosaki says you need a business system, as does many rich people, as you know. You have to make money while you're sleeping. But most of them cost a lot of money, and they don't really work that well. But finally, and that's why I'm here today, I did find Atomy's business system. And I am so glad I did. How about you? And it changed my life. But at first, how did I find it? Well, it came up very gradual. My wife used to have eye cream that she used to buy from a Japanese company, and we used to have to drive almost an hour to get the best deal on a $100 jar of Japanese eye cream. So when someday she started to say, hey, I found a different eye cream, we don't have to go there. And she said, and by the way, it's very inexpensive. It's not $100 anymore. It's only, at the time, it was $17. So I became aware, wow, I'm saving $83 on the jar. But guess what? I was also saving gas money to drive an hour, and I used to have to buy lunch as well at a Korean restaurant. That can be almost as expensive as the eye cream, right? So suddenly with Atomy, all I noticed was there's a new product in the house. I'm saving a ton of money. She's happy. I'm a happy consumer. But then the hand started to come over. You know, like many of you, I met Atomy in the bathroom. First, it was the foam cleanser. Then it was the toothpaste with the toothbrush. Before you know it, I had Atomy all over the place. And then that day comes for all of us, right? Somebody drags you either to a hotel or to another big room, and I attended my first one-day seminar. Of course, I went practically being dragged. I didn't know what it was about, even listening. I half listened with one ear only, and I really didn't get it, didn't know why I was there. My heart wasn't open, my mind wasn't even open. I sat there for 3 hours or so, came home, and nothing really changed until one fateful day. You see, one fateful day, I met Hemohim, right? Everybody's met Hemohim. So my story with Hemohim is I went to the local pharmacy for my flu shot, which I've taken for decades. And this particular day, I went about dinner time. Well, you know what happened? By the next morning, my ankles and wrists were itchy. Then within hours, my whole body was all red. By lunchtime, I was getting hives. My wife kept telling me all day, take the Hemohim. It's good to clean the blood. And you know what I did? I said, no, thank you. No, no. I was a typical American, stubborn, closed-minded. I'm scratching. I'm calling the pharmacist, the doctor, what can I do? They're telling me to take some anti-itch cream. The day's going by. The wife is trying to get me to take the Hemohim. I'm not listening. By midnight, I'm starting to pass out. When the EMTs came, they said the same thing that the doctor had been telling me all day. Take some anti-itching cream, wait 7 to 10 days, and your body will clean it out naturally. Well, I still refused after the EMTs left to take the Hemohim. So I squirmed all night. I did not sleep. But you know what? By the time the sun rose, I accepted that Hemohim. Yes, I did. And you know what happened? Before 12 hours passed. So I took it in the morning, just at sunrise. By lunchtime, I wasn't itchy anymore. My skin was starting to clear up. And before sundown that night, right after dinner, I was completely back to normal, you know? And so that's what woke me up. It woke me up to say, hey, what is this Hemohim and what is this Atomy all about? And I started to investigate, use my business consulting experience, ask all the questions that we all do, try to get the answers, and try to use the products with an open mind. So that's how I started to believe in Atomy and use the products. And what I noticed as a consumer was that there were immediate benefits. First of all, my health, right? My health was getting much better. They were clean products, natural, no brainer. Savings, in addition to saving on the eye cream, everything else she started buying, including the skincare, she was saving hundreds of dollars here, $10 there, $20 there. Money was coming in the bank just by saving money. And of course, I realize we're saving a lot of time. Not only do we not have to go an hour for the eye cream, but we saved a lot of time comparison shopping. You know, on the internet, you're looking for all kinds of reviews. Then you buy something, it doesn't work as well as they say it will. You send it back and buy it again and again. So immediate benefits of joining Atomy became very clear to me. I was hooked as a consumer. But why do I do Atomy? I mean, really do Atomy, right? We come to that trigger point. Let me tell you why I do Atomy. Well, first of all, it's about the people in my life. Of course, my family, my wife and daughter, my brother, and other members of my immediate family. They're very important for me. And even though I worked very hard and tried to save, certain things happen in life, and you're not as far as ahead as you want to be. So Atomy is the reason I'm doing Atomy is because of the people in my life. And I've come to love other people, my Atomy team. So I'm doing Atomy for them, for their success and their life. So people is one of the big motivators, one of the big whys in my life. How about the mission? I'm one of those people that needs a big purpose in life. And I love that Atomy was designed by CEO Hangyo Park for the members, the regular consumer members, to improve people's health, in body, spirit, and finances. What a fantastic mission. And I could see it happening to me and all those around me. So, big mission was a big reason why I do Atomy. How about this one? Huge impact. You know, I'm one of those dreamers, like probably many of you. I want to change the world. I love the fact that Atomy is changing the consumer producer relationship, bringing us very close together. And it's changing cash flows, right? We're spending money at Atomy, but it's being distributed back to us. Not only savings, but we get great cash back. And it turns into really a wealth source for us all, right? So changing the distribution of wealth without a big revolution, we don't need that. We just need a revolution in our heart and mind and our love for each other and Atomy. That's the only revolution we need because we can distribute wealth in this righteous business system of Atomy. And what I love even more is how Atomy allows the holy rich to impact the world for the big why. We all have most of us, probably 99% of us want to help people help the world. The problem is we really have enough to pay for ourselves and our immediate family and loved ones. There's not as much money to fulfill those desires to help the hungry, to help the sick, to help the lame, to help the uneducated, to help people in other towns or other countries. Atomy is the tool for that. So these are some of the reasons why I do Atomy. I get all choked up when I talk about it. But why now is time to do Atomy, right? This is another big factor. And these are the days. The time is always now to do Atomy. Whenever you're watching this, if we're videotaping it, the time is now. Let me tell you about that. First of all, we all need money, ongoing income to pay for our daily needs for food, housing, clothing, school, health, all these basic needs. Of course, we need it. And it's not always easy to do that. How about disruption? Life is full of disruption. The Bible tells us every 7 years there's a famine. We have crisis in our own life. Sometimes we have someone with cancer. We have job loss. Of course, there are external disasters like we're living in now with COVID-19. We have weather disasters all the time, whether it's hurricanes or floods all over the world. So these are going to happen no matter what, and they can disrupt our regular labor income, right? Then we have these crazy bank problems every so many years, like financial crisis and everything. So there's plenty of reasons why now is always the time to do Atomy to meet our needs. And guess what? There's also retirement, right? How many of us can even think of retirement sometimes? We have this idea that we can retire in the 60s or even 70 now, but we may not make it that far if we live that long, right? Or we may not have enough money because maybe you're getting $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That's not enough to really live a decent life in most parts of America. Maybe other parts of the world, yes. But Social Security is not enough for what we can do, and it's definitely not enough to fulfill our big dreams of helping people, helping society. How about savings? If we still have it by the time we need it, it goes away in those tough times. But even if you saved $500,000, which is almost impossible for most people, if you need $50,000 a year to live, guess what? It only lasts 10 years. 10 years is nothing because they say we're going to live over 100 years old. And with Atomy, we're so healthy, we're definitely, many of us, going to live to 100, 120. No brainer. And that's why we need Atomy residual income, right? And forget about investments in stocks. We can't always rely on them. They're very risky. So for all these reasons, we need to do Atomy now. How about this reason? We have competition. You know, we're in the fourth industrial revolution. We hear about it a lot from our chairman Park and other leaders. But you know what that means? It means computers. It used to be in the old days, the toll collectors on the roadways lost their jobs to the machines with Easy Pass, right? But now, last year, the dominant companies in our in our economy in the US and other places are Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, maybe Alibaba, maybe other companies. And these companies, they have about $7 trillion, a lot of money. I think they're like the number 20 something country if you would consider them a country. They are big. But the problem is they don't employ many people, maybe 500,000 direct workers that may have real benefits. So that's not good. And what that means is that as more computers take over more jobs, and they are taking over jobs of doctors and lawyers, any worker is vulnerable to be having a job taken away by robots. That means that unless somebody intervenes or does something to help, economies and jobs are disappearing. How about this? Those of us who try entrepreneurship, there are a lot of limitations. And it's not so easy to start an entrepreneur business. You need money for most businesses, you need people, you need ideas, right? That's what we need. And we need time. You know, most companies take a long time. They say it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. And what else? There's competition, right? We talk about red ocean. You know, everybody goes to the same pond to eat the same fish, and it's dog eat dog. You know, these days, many people are trying new things during the pandemic. I know lots of people are trying to be YouTube stars, right? YouTube creators. You know, I went to buy these headsets a couple months ago over at a big popular Best Buy, and as I was checking out, the gentleman asked me, "Hey, what are you buying those for? Are you a truck driver?" I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Well, they're noise cancellation." And I hesitated for a moment, and then I said, "Well, I'm going to be a YouTube star. Yes, I am." He said, "Oh, me too. I have a channel too." Now, you know what that meant to me? I used to remember a story from the Great Depression when the wealthiest person, John D. Rockefeller, was having his shoes shined and the stock market was so high. And when the shoe shine boy started to give him stock advice, it means that everybody is red ocean, right? Just like the Best Buy guy, everybody's trying to do YouTube. So competition in anything today is fierce. Would you agree with me? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. All right. All right. How about success rate? That's the most important thing. Well, let's look at that. I did check a few numbers just to check my memory. You know, small business failure rate is guaranteed pretty much. You know, the first year, 20% of companies fail. By 10th year, 70% of them fail. So that's not good, right? There's not a good chance with these other there's not another business system that's as good as Atomy. Now, how about ventures? Ventures and scale ups. You know, people I know a lot of young people or old people, they have an ego, they want to have the next billion-dollar unicorn. They go into it. They don't want to listen to use the Atomy product, but you know what the stats say? The statistics say that 75% of venture-backed companies never return any cash to investors. So when you get all your money from Atomy, be careful about investing in ventures. Have the people come into Atomy instead. And 30 to 40% of investors lose their cash and they never get it back. So what I want to say here is that even if you have the heart and the guts to try to be an entrepreneur, it is not easy. It's dog eat dog. And that's why we come to Atomy, because Atomy has a system that works. Here's the proof. We have over 600 people. The number keeps going up. This is an old chart from a couple months ago, but over 600 people make over $100,000 per year. But that's not just a year. That's residual income for as long as they live, their children, and their grandchildren live. And even over 4,000 people are making over $2,000 per month at least 12 times a year. That's fantastic. And how about our Crown Leaders Club? Over 40 people, close to 50 people now are getting to make $400,000 per year. Now, some of these people don't have a good education. They haven't built businesses before, but the Atomy system allows anybody to rise to that level. So this is why we need to do Atomy now. The most important reason for our personal reasons is we have to do Atomy now for financial freedom. Wouldn't you love to be on the beach or wherever your happy spot is, whether it's a mountain or a beach, and just have a carefree day that you can structure any way you want? How about having money to pay off your debt? I know some of you still have a mortgage. Some of you still have a loan on your car. Some of those young people out there, they still have tens of thousands of dollars on their fancy college education. Well, until you leave the debt world, you and me are all slaves unless we step into the world of atomy financial freedom. And even more importantly, is that with atomy financial freedom, we can finally have the money to help, to set up a charity, or to just throw $10,000 to our nephew who's getting married, or our niece who wants to start a new career in nursing. How about if we wanted to build a hospital together, or maybe some schools somewhere? Or we might still invest in some ventures, but we'll be the smart ones, right? So we need these atomy residual income stream to have our financial freedom. Would you agree? There's a reason we have to do atomy now. Let's do it, right? Let me talk some more about this. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about for beginners, in case you're a beginner on the call, and then a little later I'll talk about the people that are further advanced. So how to start atomy. Sometimes this is just the hardest part. But I remember when I was going off and leaving the country right after college to go to Japan. And my mother was the kind that she was kind of quiet, but she slipped me a paper a couple days before I was leaving, a little piece of paper, and it had this written on it. It says, "A journey of 10,000 miles starts with the first step." Wow. Just take the first step. That's what it's about with Atomy. Let's take the first step. And what is that first step? This is what I think. We all have a body, and Atomy has all these wonderful products that we can use on and in and around our body, whether it's food, skincare, healthcare, personal care, home care. It's all clean, it's natural, it's functional, it's great quality, right? Why not use it? Now, this is the easiest thing to do because all it takes usually is 10 to 20, $30, to test the product. Where else can you test a product or test a business by spending 10 to 30? And I know some of you are even more stingy. So for you, we're going to give you the scrubber, and you can buy that for $4, okay? So if you really have a stingy friend or a stingy relative, give them the scrubbers and let them find out. That's why it's so easy to start. And we have immediate benefits. We have, of course, health benefits, beauty benefits, and savings. I told you my story, $83 in the bank and saving on lunch. Wow, that is fantastic. That is how we can really start making money with Atomy because we don't have recruiting fees. So people think we don't make money for a while, but actually we do make money right away. Savings. What you keep is savings, and that's what we can do from day one, even when you do your due diligence. And the other thing is that we can build personal testimonies of our product experience. So this is how we start, by using the products. So simple, but do it. You have to act. And if you haven't acted, act today. I love this from my old friend Yoda. Maybe some of you are too young to know this, so over the holidays or when you have a weekend, look at the movie. But Yoda says, try not. Because many people say, oh, I'll try it. No, try not. Yoda says, what does he say? Do or do not. There is no try. Do it, right? We have to just do it. Listen to anybody who's introducing you to Atomy product. And then what do? Very simple again. I bet some of you know some people, some friends, some family that also have bodies, right? They have a face, they have a body. Hey, why not share products with them? Your family. How about your friends? And if these folks are a little bit too stubborn like I was at the beginning, any acquaintance. If someone's in your office, if you're buying coffee from somebody every day, you're going to the grocery store, you need food. Even if someone's delivering you from Grubhub or Uber, why don't you introduce it to them? There are people all around you. In fact, Even though we try to stay away from people during the pandemic, somehow people are always walking in front of us or delivering something. So there's no excuse not to share the products. Everybody can use them. Everybody can benefit from them. How do you start? Well, this is the gorgeous, beautiful Sistine Chapel from Michelangelo. But it is gorgeous, and probably no one else could maybe imitate him. But what we can do is learn from him. You see, he painted one paint stroke at a time. So just one product at a time. Now you have all the tools to share. First of all, I'm going to tell you a tool that you have, your mindset, and I don't want you to use your mind at first because our mind is a doubter. To survive this long, we have a mind usually that evaluates and finds all the reasons we should not do something, right? Because most of us haven't followed Yoda's advice. So don't use your mindset at first. Just do it. Get out of bed, use the product, use it anytime. If someone wants to try it, just share it. Don't think about them saying no. As our CEO says, let them worry about whether they're going to use or not. You just have to tell them. So what you can use from the beginning, and this is one of the best tools for us in Atomy, is our heart set. If we love people in our heart and care about people, we can share very freely. And it's the people who share freely because of the benefit of the other person. They are the most successful in Atomy. They are the quickest in Atomy. They are the easiest to make it happen because all we have to do is get that product into somebody's hand and then they're going to use it. So just use your heart and give. Let them use it. Let them try it. Have them buy it. $5, $10, $20, they can afford it because even though we're home, we still have to do Zoom. We have to comb our hair, wash our hair, put on some makeup, or just clean our skin, right? We have to use it. So let them use it give it with your loving heart. How about personality? Use your personality. If you're a very serious person, people will respect that you're seriously evaluated the product. If you're friendly, they're going to like you already. Now, for those of you on the call, there may be one or two of you that don't have a personality to use for Atomy. I suggest you go and develop a personality, okay? Why don't you do that? But use what you've got. We have 2 ears, so we should listen and listen to people because I don't know about you, but I would say 100% of the people around me, 50% of the conversation is complaining. My back hurts. I have a allergy. My skin is breaking out and I can't find a mate, a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever. So people are complaining. So just listen to what they're complaining about. Make note and then think about the product to match up to introduce them. Once they complain and you've figured out what to do, just tell them. Just tell them the simple facts. You can practice on 100 people, you'll get better. So don't worry if you can do it well from the beginning. Just do it. And then, of course, if you don't know what to say, just hand it to them. The hand, right? Just hand it over. Let them ask you, what is this? What are you giving me this for? Get into a conversation. Tell them you like it. Let them decide. Very easy. And of course, legs will bring you all around and be able to deliver things. And if nothing else, you can dance when you get those $60 and $120 checks. So you have all the tools to share. Don't give me or your friends or your sponsor or your partners any excuse why you cannot share today, 10 times a day, 100 times a day. There's just no excuse. Just do it. Now, I have to say, and again, you young whippersnappers probably don't know this, but this is Mr. Miyagi, a sensei, and this is the young karate kid. Now, he wanted to learn from the Japanese teacher how to do karate and be in tournaments and win because he was a little weakling. And so he went to the famous Mr. Miyagi and he asked him, can you train me to be in the tournament so I can, show my strength in my neighborhood? And Mr. Miyagi said, okay, after he came back the third time, okay, I'll accept you as a student. And the first thing he did was hand him the wax. Again, he used the hand. He gave them the wax and the towel, and he said, go out to the yard and start waxing on the wax this way and waxing off the wax that way. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. And after a week, the young student was very upset. Why are you telling me to wax on and wax off? I want to learn karate. And then after he says, keep doing it and you'll learn. And this is just like Atomy. Use the product, share the product. Use the product, testimonial. Use the product, share your testimonial. Wax on, wax off. Product use, product testimonial. Repetition is the key. Be like the good student and just do it. And this student, when he got into the tournament, he could do it by memory, by muscle memory. And that's the same with Atomy. If you just start using and sharing the products, you stop thinking, you stop defeating yourself. You just go into action, Atomy action. So be all like the great student and be the teacher, the kind teacher like Sensei Miyagi. And don't forget, failure is an essential part of the game. Actually, failure is the essential part of the game. This is our favorite Michael Jordan, one of the best basketball players ever. And this is his quote. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but he says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. 9,000! I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, says Michael Jordan, and that's why I succeed. You see, even Michael Jordan, the best basketball player in the world, he wins by failing. We can do it too, right? Easy to fail. You fail and learn. So you fail and learn. But how about earning an Atomy? Let's talk about the beginners and then we'll go into the long-time earners. Now, you all know the compensation plan. There's plenty of presentations out there. Check for presenters on the YouTube and the official Atomy site, and you will see how the details work. But the basic thing is this. It starts at earning $60 a day if you want to have the 300,000 PV as your qualification. So the first goal is try to get $60 for yourself and for people around you, right? You have to use the product to get qualified. Other people using the product to get qualified. You have the two groups, the two legs. And if everybody just shops for themselves to save money, before you know it, you'll have 300,000 on each leg because we have the total sum down to millions of people. So you're going to have a $60 check. It's all driven by product use because we don't make any money from recruiting. We only make money, and the company only makes money when we use the product. That's it. So it's very easy. We already talked about that, right? Wax on, wax off, use the product, share testimonies. So that should be the first way to do it, is just try to get those $60 checks and leverage the team. It's fun. Look at these kids. We've all played tug of war, hopefully, and you put the strong people up the front and the strongest people in the back, and then some in the middle and the little weaklings. We all pull together. We all help each other, and that's what Atomy is. That's how the compensation plan is actually structured. We cannot do it alone. Nobody is a super person, but we have to do it as a team and as team members, because as we develop the synergy and work together, more and more people can earn the $60 checks. And just by doing that, we're going to rise up the ranks of masterships. We have to lift each other up to earn the $2,000 a month in Atomy. So the way we do that is to become the sales master, right? We can make about $900 every half a month as a sales master. And of course, we need those 2.5 million PV on both legs to win that. And if we do, we'll get that $420 bonus. And in the process of that, we're getting these $60 checks times 8, $480. That's how it happens. Again, it's consumption, but it's consumption together. And that's our goal, right? So when we want to develop this long-term auto sales master, which is our first real goal to be successful, it's really our success milestone, we have to have about 25 persons on the left and right if they were all to use about $100,000. If everybody was to use about 100,000 PV, um, and there were 25 people on the left doing that and 25 people on the right, you would have enough people consuming to make your 2.5 million PV. Now that's just an average person, because an average consumer in Atomy, because just the hemoheme is 54,000 PV, right? What if another person in your house is using hemoheme? That's already 100,000. That's easy. And if you're not using hemoheme, you have so many other products to switch from other places. It's very easy for just an average loyal consumer in Atomy to use 100,000. So you just need 50 people for half the month. Times 2 is about 100 people a month to have an ongoing income of 2,000. But it's so easy if you think of it this way. First of all, the goal number 1 is you. You're the goal. Goal number 1, be a consumer. Switch everything over to Atomy that we have. If you're the consumer and you can do it, because there's no reason not to, you only need 99 more people. Woohoo! You're on your way, right? There you go. Now work hard and get 2 more people. 2, just 2. 2 people. Get the stingy ones that want to save 50 to 80%. Get the greedy ones that want to make money. Get the sick ones and the weak ones that want to get better and the doctors cannot help them. You can find 2, can't you? And if you can't find 2 from your friends, join a group. I joined Toastmasters, I found people. I joined a co-working space, I found people. I go to different places and find them, right? Go to Bible study. There's a lot of people there. They want to be holy rich, don't they? Yes. Find them anywhere you can. There's 7 billion people in the world. No excuses. No excuses, right? No excuses. You don't need 7 billion. You only need 100 a month. And you will not even know those 100, because you may only know 10 people, like Royal Master Jason Shim says. He doesn't really know them that well before Atomy. That's all it is. And so on and so on. Repeat, 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 right? That's all it is. Now, how do we excel? Everybody knows they have to excel in Atomy because we want to retire. We don't want to wait 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. We want to retire in 3 years, don't we? We want to retire 3 to 5 years. Why wait to retire? Retirement just means you're not forced to work as a laborer, as a slave. It means that you can pay off all your debt. That's why we want to excel in Atomy. You know the drill. We are after 30 to 50,000 per month residual income, right? Can everybody say residual income? That's what we're after. And you know all the things. We're going to have all these prizes and all this money. We know how it works in terms of the calculation. If you don't know that part yet, again, watch a video that gives the detail. What I want to talk to you about is the soft skills to make it to be Imperial Master and make it all the way. So here's what I want to say. We have to collaborate like geese, right? You know the story. When geese fly together in a V, in a binary system, it's amazing. God made binary system. When they fly together, each goose provides additional lift, additional push, and and each time they push like that, they reduce the air resistance for the geese that are flying behind. So that sponsor is working super hard, right? To push the air so it's easier for you newcomers, right? You beginners, right? And that's what it is. So if we're working together, you're having easier to fly together, right? Don't fly alone, fly together. And Atomy is meant to do that. You cannot fly alone in Atomy. You have to fly as a binary team. So that's lesson 1. What else we have to do? We have to keep that V formation, you know? You have to keep with it. You know, when the geese drop out of the V formation, it quickly discovers that it requires a great deal more effort and energy to fly. If you're the sole flyer, it's going to be so hard to make it against that north wind. You're not going to be able to do it. You have to figure out how to plug in. If you don't understand it, have a heart-to-heart discussion with others. Learn to be part of the team. And, that's what it is. Just change your heart. And if you change your heart, you'll change your mind later. Now, remember, geese rotate leadership. It's not always easy for your sponsors to be always pushing, pushing, pushing. From Diamond Master, Sharon Rose, Star Master, they're probably the ones working the hardest because they're trying to teach everybody and build the education system for the team and answer all the questions, do all the sponsoring with the 8 steps to success, encourage people to do the core 8 habits every day. Everything is in flux. You are the entrepreneur leading your geese, right? But it's tiring. If you are in Atomy for a month, figure out how to get to the next level of leadership. Push harder, push more consistently, help your leader, because what geese do is that they share the work, right? After a while, the front geese goes towards the back to regain their strength. And the second geese, the Diamond Masters, the Sharon Rose Masters, they come up front and get the hard air in their face. That's what it's about. That's why they can fly from Canada to down all the way to South Mexico and be able to do it. That's why they can fly together so far. That's what we have to do. Help each other out. Carry the load. Be the geese, right? What else do they do? And what we need to do in Atomy? Geese honk at each other, honk, 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 honk. They encourage the people at the front. The back ones are honking. Watch up in the sky when they're flying south. They're honking like crazy, and you wonder, what are they doing? And that happens too. They're communicating and encouraging those people working hardest at the top to make masterships. And that's what we have to do. We know Atomy people because whenever they're around each other, they're going crazy. They're telling everybody and their sister and their brother and their, the coffee man and whoever else they're going to about Atomy. They're whipping out the oral care. They're whipping out the shampoo, the lip treatment. They have it in their purse, in their car. Their trunk is overflowing. They're doing everything they can to encourage people. And so that's what we have to do too. Talk to each other, encourage each other. That's what it's about. And importantly, what we can learn from the geese is that the geese help each other. They say when a geese gets sick or really super tired, they come down and they come out of formation. They come to the ground, but they don't go alone. There's always a few geese that go with them because we're talking team. We don't leave anyone behind. That's a real principle of any team, any military group, anybody who's going to make it with success with the team does that. So they go down there and give them care and gets them back into the game later, because we're all player coaches, so we have to care for each other. But they'll come back into formation. So don't worry, because one of our Imperial Masters says that in Atomy, we tend to think about quitting even. Wow, can you imagine that? Has anybody thought of quitting Atomy because the burden was so hard? Yeah, maybe some of you. But you know what that Imperial Master said also is that by the time you make it to Imperial Master, you probably thought you were going to really give up Atomy at least 7 times. It's that tough. $50,000 a month for over 100 years for 3 generations? You think it's easy? It's not easy, folks. But once you make it, the product and the business system of Atomy and the 100-year plan and structure is going to help us to do it successfully. So I want to leave you with just 1 or 2 more thoughts before I wrap up. You're going to fail in Atomy. It's a given. Start failing. Fail 9,000 times as soon as possible. Right? It's just part of the Atomy game. Just do it. Keep going. Don't quit. This is from a famous rapper of days old. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're drudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with one more blow. Success is failure turned inside out, and the silver tint of the cloud of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are. It may be near, very near, when it seems so far. So stick to that fight when your hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. The famous rapper is Rudyard Kipling, by the way. So remember, folks, teamwork, it's the structure of ATOMY. If you want to go fast, you go alone. That's outside of ATOMY. That's not us. Because ATOMY is all about teamwork. If you want to go far, you go together. This is an old African proverb, but Mr. Park has built this system for group success. It's all about the team. It's all about care. It's all about love. It's all about being successful together. I thank you for listening tonight, and I know every one of you will be successful. Use your heart, work together. Let's all meet at the top, and I want to hear it. Aja, 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 atomy, atomy, atomy. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching our video. Please do subscribe if you want to keep watching our videos, and do hit the notification bell so you'll get that notification right away.